Hello everyone, good afternoon once again. I welcome each one of you in a webinar on creating apps for Nokia Lumia. To start with, the format of webinar is that for first 45 minutes we will do presentation and demo. We are going to write lot of codes today. After that we'll followed by question and answer, and if you want to speak, raise your hand such that I can unmute you and you can ask your question and we can answer that. This is my introduction. My name is Dhananjay Kumar. I work as customer advocate for Telerik. I am a Microsoft MVP. I am a Mindcracker MVP. I do tweet at the handle debug_mode, and you can read my blog post and articles related to Telerik on telerikhelper.net and on generic.net and JavaScript, etc. on debugmode.net. If you have any queries, if you have any question, feel free to reach me at dhananjay.kumar@telerik.com. Now, how we are going to proceed in this webinar, that we'll start with Nokia Lumia development. Then here I'm assuming that even though you have not done any Windows Phone development before, I'll start from very scratch. We'll start from as scratch as the setting of the development environment. Then we'll create a QR code app. In that we'll learn about one or two controls. Then we'll create a chat interface app, and in last we'll see data visualization with charts. So as you see from the agenda that we have a lot of things to cover, so I'll be a bit faster, and we are going to write a lot of codes today. Now, what is Nokia? Nokia Lumia is in buzz, and the first thing is, when you think of Nokia Lumia, when Nokia Lumia comes to your mind, it is a Windows Phone which comes to your mind for many of you. But if you are not aware of what operating system Nokia Lumia runs on, then Nokia Lumia runs on Windows Phone 8 operating system. At least there is a latest one like Nokia Lumia 920. So when we say that we are going to do development for Nokia Lumia, essentially we are going to write apps for Windows Phone 8 operating system. Now, there are two ways that we can do development for Lumia or Windows Phone 8. One is that we can create native apps, and another that we can create hybrid apps. Hybrid apps are not in the scope of this webinar. We will be fully focusing on native apps. However, if you want to create hybrid apps, you will be using, or rather you'll have to use HTML and JavaScript. We had one webinar on same last month, and in future also we will be doing that. So if you are interested, we'll send you mail, or you can visit our blog telerikhelper.net for all the upcoming webinars. Agenda and focus of today's webinar is how to create native apps, and how to create native apps. I hope you guys are following my my screen. I am on slide number, just I'm confirming that just a minute, there is some technical difficulty, just give me a moment. Sorry folks, I guess I'll have to start from beginning. I'll just go to the last slide. Last slide was actually important. that we were discussing that we can create Nokia Lumia devices runs on Windows Phone 8 operating system. And when we say that we are developing for Nokia Lumia, we are essentially writing apps for Windows Phone 8 operating system. There are two types of apps which can be created for Lumia. That one is native apps and another is hybrid apps. Hybrid apps are again not in the scope of today's webinar. Uh, if you want to create hybrid apps, you'll have to use HTML and JavaScript. For native apps, you'll have to use C# and YAML. Last month we had a webinar on how to create hybrid apps. In future again we will be doing the similar kind of webinar. If you want details of that, feel free to send us mail or anytime you can visit our blog, that is telerikhelper.com. Today we will be writing all the codes in C# and YAML, and we'll see that how we can create native apps for our Lumia devices. So to start development, what all you need? You cannot do development for Windows Phone 8 on a Windows Phone 7 machine, on a Windows 7 machine. Sorry, you need to have Windows 8 operating system to do development for Windows Phone 8. So you need Windows 8. Second, you need Visual Studio 2012 version. Does not matter whether you're using Express Edition or whatever edition you are using. Then I'll be showing you that how RAD controls for Windows Phone will speed up your development time, will speed up your development process, and can help you to create more immersive application, to help you to create application which can be which can be signed in marketplace, and how you can create those kind of application in a very quick span of time. So to start with, you have to download the trial version. Here I'm assuming that already you have installed Visual Studio 2012, and you need to download a trial version from telerik.com/phone. After that, install using Telerik control panel. Then make sure you have the third point is very important. Why I'm saying is that make sure you have checked to download sample also, that when after installation you are after downloading you are installing Telerik RAD controls, there is an option that whether you want to install samples or not. Samples are very important with all the source code that you can use as a reference while developing apps. And fourth is that if you want, you can add RAD controls to VS Toolbox. So here I'm going to show you that from where you can download. See. So here you see telerik.com/product/windows-phone.aspx or telerik.com/Windows Phone. Here you can see all the information which you may need to develop with RAD controls for Windows Phone. From here you can download a trial version. You see that we have 45 different controls. If you are owner of a Windows Phone, you can download a RAD control demo from a marketplace and can see the behavior of all the controls on your device. We have 50 plus design templates which can help you to create application in a very faster way. One of the design templates we'll be using today in demo. Second, you have all the resources available here, which you see right documentation. If you are using any control, you can go here and read all the documentation, API documentation, API references, etc. Here you can see apps which are using RAD controls, and they are featured in marketplace. And if you want to see how they have created and a white paper related to that, you can very much download that from telerik.com/product/Windows Phone as well. So this was just kind of information I wanted to give you. That I recap that first you need Visual Studio 2012. If you are coming from non-Visual Studio background, you need Windows 8 operating system, and to speed up your development process and create a world-class apps, you need RAD controls for a Windows Phone from Telerik, and you can download and install that from here. On my system, what I have done, I have already downloaded that and installed that. And now I am going to create an application from very scratch. This is Visual Studio in front of you. Many of you must be knowing what is Visual Studio and have been working on Visual Studio. Why I am focusing on this, that I believe that many of you might be coming from Android background or iPhone development background. For them, this Visual Studio might be new. So this is Visual Studio. Here to create new project, you can click here new project option. Now you can create a Windows Phone application using RAT controls in two ways. Either you go and select from Visual C# tab and then Windows Phone and select a normal Windows Phone app, or from here you can select RAT controls Windows Phone application. The third option is that from the Telerik tab, go to Windows Phone project tab, and then here you choose C# RAT controls Windows Phone application. The other option is that you can, if you want to do your coding Visual Basic, then you can choose VB RAT controls Windows Phone application. I'm choosing C# RAT controls Windows Phone app and give any name to this. Let us say webinar demo 1. Whatever name you want you can give. I'm giving webinar demo 1, and we can choose the location. I'm choosing it to desktop and go and say OK. While it is creating, now it is asking you that what all library you need for your project. Here you can choose very as required by your project. Here I am choosing all the libraries available. And in drop down you will have two options if you have bought the license or in the trial version. Since I don't have the license here installed on this machine, so I am only able to see the trial version which I can download from there, and I can choose the target Windows Phone operating system. I'm leaving it to Windows OS 8 and go to next. Now here again Telerik is giving the project template that if you want about to page, how to pages and building blocks like diagnostic, rate application reminder, trial application reminder, you can directly choose all these from here and all these will be part of your application. So here you can notice that how much it is helping you to speed up your development process. To keep it simple, what I'm doing, I'm not adding any of these building blocks, I'm not adding any other pages, and even I'm not adding app bar as well. We can choose the project type, which is like data-bound app, panorama app, or pivot app. I'm going for normal Windows Phone app and click finish. So what we have done here is that we created our first app for Nokia Lumia or Windows Phone 8 using Telerik project template. And we have kept it very simple. We did not select any diagnostic. We did not select any page to be part of app. Now if you go to Solution Explorer, you will find there that in Solution Explorer you can see in reference all the library which we just chosen is there. You can see that the project template is exactly the same if you are creating without using Telerik template. Now we'll not go into detail of that, and let us see that how very quickly we can work with one of the basic control. So let us first change the application name. To change that, in line number 44, in line number 44 you have option to change application title. I'm just making it smaller. So in line number 44 you can change app title. I'm changing it to Telerik, and then here we can say first app or whatever you like. Next, let us assume that we want to have a calendar in our app. Now having a calendar in your app is just a matter of 2 lines of code using RAT controls. For that, step 1, what you need to do is that go and add a namespace on your YAML, which we'll be adding here. And we have added a namespace for called Telerik input for the assembly telerik.windows.control.input. And when we selected the product which you see here, we added it here. When we created the project, we added all the required libraries, so we don't need to add a reference again here. After adding the namespace, we'll go here and say Telerik input, and here we see RAD calendar in IntelliSense. Just choose that. And here you get in design, you can see that just we added a calendar in our application with just one line of code, and by default that is highlighting current date, which is 7th of March today. If you go ahead and run it, you can choose a type of emulator. And now we are running it here in emulator. And you see that let us run it again. You see that in emulator calendars are visible, and we are able to see the calendar in emulators. Due to some reason, emulators, just a minute, let me close this. Okay. Now assume that we want to see that how we can select a particular date and display that. Again, that would be one line of code which we can go here and let us give name of the calendar, that is RAD calendar. Now go to your code, view code, and here we can add a event to that calendar, and let us say call that as RD calendar dot. You see all the events are exposed here. We are selecting a selected value changed. And in message box, we can say message box dot show new selected date e dot new value. So what essentially we are doing here is we attached an event in line number 22. We attached an event in line number 22 to the calendar control, and we are saying that when the value has been changed, raise this event, and in that event handler at line number 27 we are getting the new selected date in e dot new value, and we are displaying that in a message box. Let's go and run it again. And here you are getting that RAD controls for Windows Phone trial because we are running in the trial. Do cancel. And when we change a particular date, you see that we are getting new selected date, that is 19th of March, 30th of March. So what we learned in this particular demo is that it is very easy to implement a complex control like calendar, and we can manipulate, we can select all the dates, all the format, etc. I just shown you a very basic operation on calendar control. What I'm going to do is that I'm running on another application, And in that app, I'll show you what much you can achieve in a calendar control. And why I'm focusing on calendar, because calendar, if you create any business apps, calendars are basic are essential and basic component of those kind of application. I wonder, due to some reason emulator is not displayed in an expected way. Let me just see that. So you guys are not able to see all the skin of emulator, and I guess that is expected because uh, emulator is another virtual machine. But you are able to see that screen of that, right? In that here, now I'll go to browse all controls. So here in this application, let us enter some name. Dhananjay, some phone number, and then some email ID. Now I have provided these three informations like my name, my phone number, and my email ID, and I want to create a QR code out of these three information. How we can do that? This is the app we are going to create, and again I'll show you that how easy it is to create this app with less than 10 lines of code. Let me start. Okay guys, so go to our web webinar demo which we just created. And now we don't need calendar. What we can see here, go ahead and remove calendar from here. And again, we don't need any code behind for that, so I'm just removing that. Now we are going to create that QR demo application. Save it and just run it once to see that if everything works fine. Cancel, and yes, everything works fine. We'll go here to our main page of Jamil, and again first we need to add namespace, and namespace we required are Telerik primitives and Telerik database, which we have given the name. I'm in line number 9 and 10, and we are adding a reference of Telerik dot Windows.control.data visualization, because a QR code is part of this particular assembly, and we are also adding reference of Telerik.windows.controls.primitives. Why we are adding that? Because you notice that we are taking user input like their name, phone number, and email in a control called rat text box. So to work with these two control, we need these two assembly. After adding the namespace, go to our content grid and just say that, hey, create a QR code for me. I'll walk through you to the code that we are taking reference of Telerik data viz, and then the control name is rad barcode QR. We are setting their name of the control, that is X name, which is normal Silverlight Windows Phone way of setting name. Then we are setting opacity of the control. Then again, this version, error correction level, mode, byte, ECI, FNC1, etc. are property of QR code. If you want to know, and that has nothing to do with RAT controls or any programming language we are using to create QR code. Those are property of QR code. So we can set those QR code standard properties just as easy as you can see in your front in front of your system, that we can set error correction level, we can set ECI, we can set FNC1, we can set version, etc. All the versions, all the error correction level, etc. has have their different meaning. The text which we are setting here, we are calling it text your data. We can set this text dynamically as well, which we'll be seeing just now. And here what I have done, I have just put a red barcode QR and set all these properties. And what you see in your design, that that a QR code has been created with the text your data. If you change it to something else, and save, that QR code will change. Now what we want, that we want to get this text from user. For that, let us go ahead and modify the grid. In grid, content grid, we are going to divide that in two rows. In first row, we will be displaying that QR code. In second row, we'll getting user input. What I have done in second row, I have put a stack panel. I'm in line number 68. I have put a stack panel and set the orientation as vertical. Then I'm setting a text block. In text block, we are saying this is a contact details and setting their margin and foreground. Then in line number 73, if you I'm using another Telerik RAT controls called red text box. Using that very easily, I can set watermark like first and last name. Here I'm setting, you can see. Then I'm setting another normal properties like margin and setting name of that particular text box. In the same way, to get the phone number, I'm using red text box. Again, watermark I'm setting as phone number, and since in this particular text box user is going to give us phone number, so I'm setting input scope as telephone number, then margin, then X name, and the same way for email, and input scope is email name address. So here we have created, as you see in design, that we have created user interface to get user input, and then also we have put a button which you see in line number 85. On click event of that button, QR code will get generated by reading values from these controls. Now let us go to code behind. In code behind, we need to attach a click event to that button which we created there. And very simply what we are doing here in line number 22 is we are attaching click event to button, and in event handler we are reading text of all those three input text box, and we are concatenating them together, and then we are setting text property of QR code as combination of those three text box text. And then here I am making contact opacity as 1, such that when user click on QR code, then to generate QR code, then only QR code will be visible to user. And we'll go to main page.jml again, and here we'll set opacity as 0. Now let us go ahead and run this application. And here you see that we are getting contact details. We are asking user to provide contact details. Some phone number, some email ID. And you can see that by using RAT text box, now when we set input scope as email, and here as a keyboard, we are getting only options to enter email ID. And here we entered all these three information, and when we say generate QR code, here QR code got generated. So this was my second demo, and I was trying to showcase you that if you are creating an application in which you are going to work with barcode or QR code, then how easy it would be for you by using Telerik QR code control. I recap that first we added namespace. Then we just put a control called Telerik RAT bar code QR. We set some basic properties. Then this was again the user interface which we created. And on click event, we read all the user input and just set the text property, and QR code got generated. So this was my second demo. And before I jump to my third demo, I wanted to show you something very interesting. There is a Nokia Lumia developer program running with Telerik. You can go to that program and you can learn about all the benefits of that program. For that, you will find that information on a home page of Windows Phone product on Telerik site. Else, you can go to developer.nokia.com/developer-programs/premium program. I'll share the short URL later in blog post. So far we have seen three controls. One is RAT calendar, one RAT text box, and QR code control. There are 45 such controls available for you to speed up your development. I'm not going to read out name of those 45 controls, but controls are like chart, different kind of chart, whether it's a financial chart, pie chart, bar chart, line chart, spline chart, etc. You have multiple resolution image control. Since Windows Phone 8 is going to come in different kind of devices, or in other words, Lumia will have of different Lumia will be of different types, and each device will have different resolution. So just set one image, and this control will help you to render image according to the device size. Lifestyle helpers, which indicator. Then you have data bound list box. This is very important, which I wanted to show you. That data bound list box performance, if you are creating a huge database application in which you need to show 1,000, 2,000 data, and you want to have better performance in fetching and displaying those data, then data bound list box is your solution. Data form, date picker, as all these controls are very much you can just read from the name that what is the purpose of those controls. There are 45 controls. Just now we done QR codes. In that we can set the error correction label, text mode, ECI, application indicator, etc. I'll share code with you. Next, we are going to create a chat interface. How we can create the chat interface? For that, let us go to our same webinar. I'm commenting this code. Going to main page.yaml. In this code. Why I'm deleting everything such that I can show you from a very scratch at how we can create that app. Again, we have either commented or deleted all the codes which we wrote for QR code. Now we are going to create that chat interface, and that is possible using a React Conversation View control. To start with, again, first step, we need to add namespace on YAML. Here we'll go and added a namespace. To work with React Conversation View, you need Telerik data, telerik.windows.control.data assembly, reference of that particular assembly. Once added a namespace, in the YAML, just go and say, hey, I want to create a React Conversation View. For that, namespace :control name, and then I'm setting some basic properties like name of the control and item source. Again, React Conversation View is a data bound control. What I mean by data bound control is that this is a control which will show the conversation, and when you say conversation or chat, that is at the end of the day a data. So this is a data bound control, and to work with data bound control, I am setting item source here, and we will set the data at the runtime. At this point, if you go and run the application, you'll find exactly the same as it is in the design view, that control has been added, but there is no conversation or chat in that. We can add chat and code behind. Go to code. Now we need to add this to namespace telerik.windows.control to work with conversation view, and system.collection.object model is a normal .NET library which we need to work with enumerable and observable, etc. Now let us go ahead and add observable collection, and type of this collection will be conversation view message. So this line is listy message. This particular guy conversation view message is very important. We can display a message of type conversation view message in conversation view control only. However, if required, you can create a custom message type as well, which is again not in the scope of this webinar. We are going to use default conversation view message type. So this particular control, which is conversation view, React Conversation View, only can display message or chat or conversation of type conversation view message, and we are creating observable of that. Now let us go ahead and create a function. I'll walk through this function. That in this function, what we are doing, in this function, in line number 30, we are creating a function and saying that this function will return an observable collection of conversation view messages. Then we are creating different conversation view messages, like there are 4 messages, and in each message you have 3 parameter we are passing in constructor. One is the message itself, second is time of that message, and third parameter, which is very important, is the type of message. Now there can be only 2 types, either the message is incoming type of message or is outgoing type. Here we are creating an observable message and returning that that observable from this function. Since we have defined it already, we can remove it from here. So if you want to create a conversation view message, just say conversation view message, new conversation view message, and you see in the parameter we need to pass a string text, that is your message, the timestamp of that message, when that message got created, and type of that message. What I'm trying to show you, that different type of message, and you see conversation view message type, and there are only 2 types available, that is incoming and outgoing. Again, this is default message type, that is which we are working with. If you want, you can create your custom message type as well. Let me delete this. So what we have done here is that we are returning an observable conversation view message, and we need to replace it here. After that, we need to set the data context of this create conversation view. We'll go here and say this dot conversation view dot data context equal to get message. Now on running of application, we should able to see these 4 different kind of messages. What we done here, we just created a collection of messages and bind it to the control. And you see these 4 messages, hello, hi, WhatsApp, and all good are there. But you notice that a hello type of hello message is outgoing, and for that pointer is different than pointer of incoming message. In incoming message, pointer is in down, is towards down, and for outgoing message, pointer is towards up. And now if you want to send some message, you see that we are not able to send message because we have not handled event for that. We can handle that event as this dot conversation view dot sending message event, and in this particular event what we need to do is we'll say dot add e dot message, and before adding message explicitly we need to typecast that message as conversation view message. So this just 1 line of code is required to add a message to your chat interface. Just go save it and run it again. Now if you go and type, you see that we are able to send message, and by default it is picking the current date and time. Now let us make it more immersive. Again, if you run that application, you see that color of incoming outgoing message is same, and that is taking the accent color set on the device. Now if you want to send change message template for incoming message and outgoing message, then how we can do that? It's very simple to do that. Go to your YAML. And here we can create incoming message template. And what we are doing in incoming in message template does not matter whether it is incoming message template or outgoing message template. There are there are three important components of that. First component, which you see in line number 70, is a timestamp. When we are sending the message, there is a timestamp attached to each message. So we need to decide while creating template for incoming message or outgoing message that how and where we want to display that timestamp, or whether we want to display or not. Second is the message itself, which you come here, which is this text box. That is line number 93 to 95. And we are binding that to part text. And third important factor is that arrow sign. If you remember, in default message template, for outgoing that arrow sign was upwards, and for incoming message it was inwards. So we can change appearance of that as well, which we are changing here. I'm not explaining much. That what we are doing here is normal incoming message template. We are changing that using data template. Inside that we have two columns and then a stack panel. Then we are deciding that how that time format should be displayed. Then we are deciding how the symbol should be displayed. Then we are deciding how the text would be displayed. So here we have defined incoming message template. At this point, if you run your application, you'll find that all the incoming messages are in a different, they are appearing in different way. So it's running here, and you see there's incoming message templates has been changed. It is not now default. In the same way, if you want, you can change outgoing message template as well. And don't worry if you are not able to grasp the code now. I'll share all the code in a blog post. So here I defined outgoing message template as well. Now I'll go and run application again. And here you see that we have changed incoming message template and outgoing message template. And if you notice that in incoming message template, that date is part of the text in which we are sending the message. This text box, date is appearing in the same text box. However, for outgoing, date and time is appearing different than the message text box. So we have just changed that in message template, and in this way you can change the template of incoming message and outgoing message just by creating a data template. Now we are running out of time. We had one more thing to show you in this particular app, this particular demo, which I'm not going to write now. I'm not going to write code for that now. I'll showing you in already written code. And quickly then we'll move to data visualization using chart. So here we just noticed that in chat interface we can manage outgoing message template, we can manage incoming message template, we can create template for text box which we created, we can have custom message, we can have grouping of message, etc. So here if you go to browse all controls, and I have conversation view. In this, if I say hi, you see I'm getting the message like dummies, typing and all. Everything you can achieve using conversation view. Again, when you download RAT controls, these samples get downloaded by gets downloaded. You have to select that option, and if you have Windows Phone device, please go ahead and download Telerik examples from marketplace. Can see the behavior of all the controls. And in this, if you go to view code, you can see all the codes that how that particular sample has been created. Now let us move to our third demo. We completed our 2 demo. let us move to our third demo, that how we can work with different kind of chart. For that, again, I'm going to use a webinar demo which we just created this project. And what I'll do, I'll delete all the codes once again. And let us delete namespaces we added as well, such that again we will have a feeling that we started from scratch and everything is fine. Run the application to see. Now to work with chart controls, you see everything is fine. We are getting first app as output. The next I'm going to show you that how we can start with chart. To start with chart, first again you need to add namespaces here. And this time you need a telerik.windows.controls.chart. I'm in line number 10 assembly. After you added those namespaces, oops, sorry. Next, what we need, that we need to add a chart, and we can add a chart like this. So as we added a chart, red Cartesian chart, and given a name of that chart, you see in the design that it is saying, that horizontal axis not set and vertical axis not set. There are two ways that we can set everything. First is that we can write codes, which I'll be walking through now. Another option is that as you select chart here, you'll find option here on the design. Choose that, and from here you can choose chart which you want to work with. Let us say you want a line chart. Select this and say continue. And here you see that a chart has been created for you and all the required codes being added here. You can very much go and add those data point from program itself. Now let me go ahead and delete this chart. Now it is giving us message that horizontal axis not set and vertical axis not set. So first step, let us set this horizontal axis and vertical axis, and we can set that as like this. Now we have said that red Cartesian horizontal chart, horizontal axis, we need to put it inside the chart. After we added vertical axis and horizontal axis, you see in the vertical axis, in horizontal axis, we are saying that the type of axis is categorical axis. You have another options like date time axis, or log axis, etc. And then for the vertical axis, I'm saying that type of axis is linear axis, line number 61, and we are setting maximum as 100, from 0 to 100. After setting a vertical axis and horizontal axis, now we are getting a message that there is no series. So step 1, we need to add chart. Step 2, we need to add axis. Step 3, we need to add series. To add series, go ahead and add series. Now here we added a series of type Cartesian chart dot series, and we are adding a line series, which chart we just created by selecting the template, and we are saying that a color of line would be orange, and thickness of the line we are setting as 2. After adding the series, you see that here we are getting a message in design that no data to plot. Here we are getting no data to plot. Now we added chart, we added axis, we added series. Here we added chart. I'm just going slow such that you'll have better understanding. Then we selected axis, horizontal axis and vertical axis. Then we selected series. After that, we need to add data points, and that should be the last step. To add data points, we'll add data points in between the chart series. And you see here we are adding 5 data points with value 20, 40, 35, 40, 30, 50. Now let us go ahead and run this. And you see that we just created a chart with the data points. Of course, in real application, we'll get all these data points from a service, and we'll have to set that from a code behind. I'll show you that how we can set it from code behind, but before that, let us add one more chart series. And we are adding one more line series. And see that we added one more series to the chart. Now these two series can display, can visualize to different data. Now let us go ahead and comment the data points from here. Comment data point from here. Again, we are getting message no data to plot. Now we are going to plot the data from code behind. Go to code and say the data points here. Now run the application to see that how we can bind or we can set data point from the code behind. We should get exactly the same result. And here we are getting. So here line number 27 and line number 28, we are in one sense hard coding the data. In real application, this data will come from remote services. If you go here, you can create different kind of let me just delete everything again. You can create different kind of chart. If you want to create financial chart, bar chart, area chart, you can create. Let us go to bar chart and select this option. Continue. Here it got created, and from here if you change their values to minus, and you can see the behavior of chart. So it is this much easy to work with charts if you are using RAD controls for Windows Phone. Now I want to show you one last demo of my that will take less than 2 to 3 minutes of my application. In that we are going to create a pie chart, and in the pie chart when users select a particular section, that will be displayed differently than other part of the chart which are not selected. Again, to start from the scratch, what I'm doing, I'm just deleting everything. We have deleted. Let us go ahead and delete namespace as well. Now again the same namespace, we are adding it here. After adding the namespace, what we want to divide the rows in three, divide a content grid in 3 rows, which we are doing here. After row, we want to show a label to user that tap on pie slice to select it. This is normal text block. Then we want to put a red pie chart, which we are putting in again line number 1. And this is simple, as we created a line chart or bar chart that while creating the chart we are saying that this is a red pie chart. In that we are setting the data point, we are setting axis, we are setting radius factor, etc. And since it is a pie chart, there is no vertical and horizontal axis. That was only for line charts or bar kind of charts. Here we will deal with the radius which we are setting here. If you see line number 69. Now let us go ahead and run this application. And here you see a pie chart for you, and when you tap on a particular slice of chart, you'll find that that is selectable. And this is, again, we have not written a single line of C# code to do that. Uh, it is again comes as a property of chart to make it selectable. So this is what all I had for today demo. And these kinds of chart you can achieve. And before I complete my presentation and open the question and answer panel to ask you question, I wanted to show you, you know, some kind of navigate, browse through all the controls which are available, which you may find useful creating your apps. So again, this sample you will get while you downloading that RAD controls for Windows Phone. Here you have option of browse all controls. Go to browse all controls, and here you find all those 45 controls which I'm talking. You can choose any control you want, like data form. Yeah, sometimes we are creating creating a registration types of applications. So in that case, this control will give you everything, and you can search flight, etc. And here you can go and see the view code. In the same way, I wanted to show you two more controls, that is data bound list. Or maybe two flavor of data bound list. Browse all controls, and here we have data bound list box. And here you see that the behavior you might not be able to experience in on your screen, but if you see the behavior performance on a real device, you can feel that. And here we are getting top 1000 Netflix movies, and you see that template, etc. there. You can see the recorder. Then pull to refresh. If you want to that iPhone list view behavior, you can pull that particular list view to refresh. And here we are getting data from 500px.com. Then the wrap mode, it is taking time to fetch data due to my internet connectivity. You have orientation, you can have checkbox, you can have item animation, as you can see here. You can have header, footer. So you can achieve this kind of data visualization list view using data bound list box. So this is what all I had for today demo. Again, I'll guide you through the resources that you can go to telerik.com/demos to see all the demos. You can go to telerik.com/tv to watch videos of all the demos, all the controls. You can download this from telerik.com/phone. If I'm done with my presentation, if you have any question, please feel free to use question and answer panel for the same. I find no question in question answer panel. So again, to start with, I'll browse you through the site that from here you can download the trial. You can browse through all the resources which are available for the development. You can see demos, etc. on telerik.com/products windows phone.aspx.